Hey everybody, today I'm going to talk about YouTube sponsorships and product reviews. This is something not a lot of people discuss. So once you hit a certain level of success on YouTube, you start getting contacted by product companies to review your products. And you probably have noticed that I've got a bunch of product reviews over the last year on my channel. What you guys don't see is the things that happen behind the scenes and all of the products that I refuse to review or that I personally review and then don't post videos on. I very rarely make straight up negative reviews because I know there's a possibility it'll open me up for a lawsuit and I don't have the money to defend myself like some of the big boys do. I have stood up to a couple of my vendors when they have sent me something that I didn't care for and have given them my feedback. This is one of the reasons why I still trust Wattcycle. I believe that they are acting with integrity to recover after Will Prowse's video about their battery. I've been in communication with them and I know they're working to rectify the situation with their 300 amp mini battery. But other companies that have sent me products that did not pass my testing or had actual problems have acted with significantly less integrity than Wattcycle has. I really do try to maintain my integrity and not post a video review hawking something that I don't believe in. But, I just won't post junk for the sake of making a buck. Now, in the prepper space, we get hit up on all sorts of weird things, weird and interesting things. And for a little bit of background, I live in a rental house in a suburban neighborhood. So there's certain things that I just can't test, or I can't test to my, level of kind of scientific satisfaction. For example, about a year ago, I got contacted by a company that makes a EMP surge protector. I also believe that EMPs are an utter scam, and if you give me 500 upvotes on this video, I'll make a video telling you why EMPs are a scam and literally why I think that a zombie apocalypse is more probable than an EMP. I'll tell you all about it. It's one of my pet peeves, one of my favorite topics. And I personally think that it's snake oil, but I couldn't sort of prove that because I don't have a lab with a high voltage emitter to even attempt to replicate what an EMP could kind of look like. And so we had some discussions and I declined, no harm, no foul, because I just didn't think that I could do the viewers justice by attempting to make a video with some sort of, scientific background behind it. I was actually really excited when I got contacted by some water filter companies because my friend Sabrina lived in a town called Marlin north of me with historically nasty water that was a real world problem. So I drove an hour to go see her to get some water samples to run through a filter so I could show you an actual real world situation to see how these water filters would react to something that actually was really going on. This was an important thing to me because it was a friend of mine and it was something that I could accurately test. We've got the Flint, Michigan water crisis and other emergencies. Like, this is something that I can actually really do in a real world scenario, in a plausible situation, because it's happening to my friend. Let's see how this stuff actually works. So I got really excited about my first water filter test in my Itheil reverse osmosis filter because I could show it in a real situation. I got sent a Geiger counter also. which is kind of fun. The only reason that I accepted this is because I did some research and I found out that there are 2 nuclear power plants in the state of Texas, one of which I was going to drive right past on a Thanksgiving family trip. Hey everyone, we're at the Comanche Peak Nuclear Power Plant in Glen Rose, Texas, which is one of 2 nuclear power plants.
Can you start over?
So we left early, and my wife and I actually drove to the nuclear power plant and got as close as I thought that I could on a holiday weekend and walked around the parking lot with a Geiger counter to see if it would do anything. I was still a couple of miles away, and so it didn't read anything, but I made an attempt. I made a reasonable attempt, but since I couldn't get any closer or anything like that, I never posted a video because I didn't think that I could accurately represent whether the thing works or not. Occasionally I'll get something that doesn't work, and I have products that I have been sent that I have not posted videos on. I don't typically make negative reviews because sometimes it's just a personal feeling, like I don't like the build quality, like the TID Radio H3 that everyone thinks is the Baofeng replacement. I got one in and I hated it. The buttons were tiny, the whole radio is like this big, the software was not easy to use, like I just didn't like it. I didn't make a video saying that I didn't like it because I couldn't kind of quantify that, but I just did not have a pleasant personal experience with it, so I just left it alone and it went into my junk box. On occasion, I'll get something that fails, and I give the company an opportunity to fix it. I was sent the Leapol's 300 amp hour that I reviewed it over the summer. The first one they sent to me was dead out of the box, and they solved it. They replaced it and sent me another one that tested just fine. So I always try to give a company their shake to correct an issue. I have another product right now that the first version failed, and I've been in contact with the company, and they seem to be addressing it and sending me another one, so we'll just see if I got a bum unit. So I try to make my tests, reasonable, plausible, and something that I can test with a certain level of kind of, science behind it. Water filters, I do TDS tests on, red dye tests. So everything that I put out there, I want you guys to know that I've got, my own confidence in. But I just want you also to know that there's a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes that I have turned down or denied because I was not confident in my ability to accurately test or represent it. So there's a lot of content out on YouTube. There's a lot of prepper guys out there making stuff and hawking things, and we make money on it, that's true. But look and see, before you click that link, to buy something from an affiliate, what are they really doing? Like, are you buying something like a Geiger counter just because a guy with a name Prepper in his name tells you to? Or is there any sort of level of scientific test behind it? So this is my commitment to you guys, that anything that I show on my channel that I have tested and I've got confidence in, and know that I probably have several things backed up in my garage that either have failed my testing or a bunch of other items that I never tested, never even accepted because I didn't have a good way to do that. So thanks everybody. I hope that this was helpful and gave you a little insight into what happens behind the scenes, and we'll see you on the next one.